The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for popping in and spending time with us today. We're so glad that you could join us. Today is August 14th, 2023. My name is Beth Hathoot, and this is Notary Stars General Mentorship. I got to take a minute here and deliver our public service announcement. So please remember, if you're driving, that this meeting is being recorded, and we would prefer if you're watching live or even watching the replay while you're driving, that you remain off camera, on mute, and keep your eyes on the road. We care about you and we want you to be safe. You can always come back to our replays on our YouTube channel anytime you wish. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get notified when we post fresh new content. This is a weekly mentorship, and it's held every Monday at the same time, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard or Pacific Standard, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's all about you, our nationwide notary community. So we hope you'll tune in and turn on your cameras, bring a question, or share something you know with your colleagues here today. All you have to do is virtually raise your hand using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And no, you don't have to wait for us to stop talking to get into queue. You can do it right now. So get those cameras on and hands raised. And while you're doing that, we have just a few announcements. There's been so much going on at Notary Stars lately. I feel like I'm working in a sweatshop. Our first announcement is we held a very special webinar on Friday, August the 11th, for everyone who has an online profile or is listed with the OnlineNotaries.com website. That webinar focused on how to maximize your listings for RON signings, and based on the attendance and the thank you emails received after the session, it was a smash hit. We'll post the replay link for you in the chat. It's already running on YouTube, but we'll post the link here in just a minute. Ronnie said he's never received that many thank you emails after a session. It was unbelievable, very successful. Our second announcement is regarding our $1,000 giveaway. And you didn't hear me wrong. It is $1,000. It's a giveaway that we're doing on October 30th this year. You only need to have been a Notary Star or higher level member at any time in the past by the 1st of August, which has already gone past, by the way. Make a short 30 to 60 second video telling others what you gained from your Notary Star membership. And please don't talk about how much money you make. We want to leave the dollars and cents out, okay? We sent out an email with the full details, and it's also posted on our Facebook group. But this is your chance to earn some easy cash. You must be entered by the 31st of August to participate. These videos, by the way, were inspired by the Notary on the Street program initiated by Marcy Tiberio. And we're hoping to show you how to get behind that camera and educate your community and others what you're capable of. Our third announcement is on the latest update of renovations on our training website. These include, if you haven't been there lately, all the modules under the members only training tab have been given subtitles, so it's easier for you to know what's inside. So module 1 is basics. Module 2 is seller files. 3 is refinance. Module 4 is buyer's files. 5 are other types of files, those ones that don't fall into those other categories. And then module 6 is dedicated to miscellaneous and odd bits. Okay. In module 1, we've also added a video for you that defines what personal knowledge is. You probably don't know this, but personal knowledge is a definition in your handbooks. You might have to search to find it, but it's there. And we also have a downloadable handout for credible witness regulations, and they're split out by the states. So find your state, find out what your credible witness regulations say. And there's also a sample credible witness affidavit. Module 4 got a minor update as we added a cash buyer file for you. And then the new notaries tab on the website has been updated to include a section called Top New Notary Questions. And these are actually delivered in blog format. So we encourage you to visit that section, find a blog article and comment on it, or add your wisdom to the piece. Okay. Be sure to check out all of the updates at notarystars.com. One more announcement. We're just loaded this week. One more announcement before I turn it over to Mr. Ronnie. A new jot form has been added to, has been set up to make it easy for you to submit questions for these Monday sessions as they come to mind. That way you won't be saying to yourself when we go on camera, I know there was something I was going to ask today, but I can't remember what it was. So we'll post that jot form link for you in the chat, or you can find it pinned on our Facebook page as well. It's there for you to use whenever a non-urgent question comes to mind, and you can just pull it up, throw your question in there, and we'll do our best to get it answered during these Monday sessions. I think that's all I have. Mr. Ronnie, are you ready to start us off? Get this party started.
I was born ready. All right, guys, listen, for those of you that don't have your cameras on, I'm going to make a challenge today, okay? Every single one of you eventually are going to have to go into Ron, and you're eventually going to have to turn on that camera. So if you are not driving a car, if you are not stuffing your face and you're not running around naked, I would like to see your faces. I'm challenging you because you're going to have to get over the hurdle of being on camera in your life. And no matter where you are, it's coming. Okay, so it's let's see that screen light up, and let's get used to it in a comfortable environment where nobody's judging you. Okay, you know, we're all friends here. We're all here to support each other. We want to make sure that we start getting comfortable being on camera. That said, we're also going to have to get comfortable on social media. A lot of us are going to have to get comfortable using it. Why not get used to being on camera, seeing how you look on camera, seeing how other people look on camera, how the backgrounds look. Get your experience, start looking around at your peers. I learned something today. I did an interview with another company today, and I saw their background. I was like, wow, I got to really work on my background. Mine's just my office back here. But get ideas, look around, and get used to being on camera. With that said, I want you to go ahead and put up your hands if you brought questions. We do have quite a few that came in on the jot form, and we posted that in the link for you. But I want to start out with just a little marketing tip. While you get your hands raised. I see somebody's already got their hand raised, so I'll try to make this quick. You know, guys, I taught a really great SEO seminar this weekend. It was a little over 4 hours long. So for those of you who spent 4 hours with me on Saturday, thank you. But one thing that I want to bring up to you guys is that we started this to make it a little bit easier for you. We write a lot of blog content here at Notary Stars, a lot. Okay, and you'll notice that our email that went out this morning, we stopped putting all the blogs that we put. We gave you 2 links and said, save our blog and save our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to go and see anything that came out in the last week. You can always check it and check those blogs. We will still continue to post them in our Facebook group. We'll try to let you know if something's really, really important, but we're just generating so much content. Some of our blog articles have been viewed 40,000 times. I mean, that's a lot of views, and that's like in a year's time. You know, the emails that we send out with all this, it just feels like it's kind of junked up. I want to tell you that the blogs, they're for us too. I mean, it draws in new students, it draws in new members of Notary Stars. It's great to put out content, but these blogs can help you in your SEO. And I'm going to explain how this actually works for you. Okay. I'm going to just take a look at the most recent one that was posted. And I'm going to share my screen here and show you how the internet works. And this will help your website and any other thing that you have linked in your profile be pulled up. Notary Stars is a pretty strong website. We get a lot of traffic, okay? Whether it be from notaries or onlookers or people accessing the site for information for the library. I want to show you how this works and how this helps your website. So if we go here, we have two blog sections. We have our community blogs where we write most of our content. And then we have this news notary section here, the top new notary questions. There's only two blogs there because we just started it this weekend, but I'm going to go to this blog here where we already have some comments. And let me show you how the internet really works. This blog is written so that it will gain traffic. It will be found. It's for new notaries, but you can see that these comments are already starting to come in. You'll notice here that this person, if they're logged into Notary Stars, when you click on this profile here, it links out to their signing agent profile. It links out to their all of their profiles. And should they have their website in their profile, when Google reads our site, which it's going to read our site more often because we're consistently publishing content weekly. We've trained Google to come back and read our website often. It's coming through, and what Google does is it lands on the homepage of any website. And what it does is it goes through and it says, great, what's on this homepage? And it reads every single link that's on this page, and it goes to the next link, and then it goes deeper. And everything that's linked gets SEO points. This is what we call backlinking. And I posted an article in our Facebook group about this particular procedure is something that the best SEO experts in the country do. They go and comment on news articles. You want to be related to the topic. So this is perfect for you guys. Any notary website that's posting blogs that allows you to comment, that has a place for you to put in your website where it's actually linking out. You can also sign those blogs with your website, but it works better if it's actually linked in there and hyperlinked. And these are, if you've got it posted in your profile. So this is a great way for you to get SEO backlinks to your own website, just commenting about your experience as a notary. Or if you have comments on like AI technology, or if you have comments on any of the processes that we have. Not only does it help other notaries, but it's helping you to help other notaries by getting those backlinks. And each blog that you comment on is another backlink because it's a brand new page pointing towards your website. Okay. And there are, again, you can go to our Facebook group, you can see where I posted the first one, or you can go to the website and start commenting, but it will help you in the long run. With that said, I'm going to get started with Miss Angela for our first question for today. Miss Angela, welcome. And what can we help you with today?
Hi. Well, I wanted to know I was reading about bonds and insurance, and I see that in Oregon, we don't have surety bonds, and my insurance company doesn't even do them. So I was wondering about that. Like, if there's anyone from Oregon that can answer that question, and if there's also like cyber insurance for the new cyber laws.
Okay, let's start with the very first one. We actually have an Oregon notary that's already set up right up on the screen. It's got a question right after you. Mr. Rod, what is your experience with setting up with a bond in Oregon?
Well, I have not done that, and I believe that that's not necessary, if I recall my handbook information.
Okay.
But I wouldn't take that for 100%. I'm not sure, but I don't feel that at least I don't feel it was necessary for me. But
okay, that's what my question was, because I didn't think I could get it, but I thought, yeah, I didn't know if I should research further or just let it go at that point.
Yeah, if a bond is required by your state, it's going to be incumbent upon you to get it before they issue your commission. So if you didn't have that requirement, then you don't need it.
Okay. And then what about the cyber insurance? Is that a thing?
So I know that we have Amy on the line right now as well, and maybe she wants to speak up if she's able to, but my personal belief in cyber insurance is, you know, if you're performing RON transactions on your computer and you're responsible for the information you're downloading to your computer, uploading to your RON platform. I personally have $1 million in cybercrime insurance that covers me or any notary that's working under the umbrella. However, I'm encouraging notaries to also have their own. In our independent contractor agreements as signing agencies or title companies, they're going to say that you're responsible. You know, Fidelity made a huge update for BankServe on all the things that we're supposed to be doing, and they're really putting the pressure on notaries to reset passwords. We can start to see this trickle down. I know notaries who have had their computers hacked. So is it a requirement at the moment? No. However, I always go the path of least resistance and say, maybe I should consider this since I'm going to be working online. The less RON that you're doing, the less probability chance you have, but the more transactions that you're doing, if you're growing your business, you're opening yourself up for that opportunity to happen. And Murphy's Law is, if it can happen, it will happen. And you're talking to a guy that filed bankruptcy at 22 years old because I waited 3 days after my father's insurance canceled, and I went into a coma and ran up quite the medical bill after 6 to 8 weeks. And, you know, I've learned a long time ago, insurance protects you. It might cost money, but it is tax deductible. So it is a personal opinion that cybercrime insurance be added, but I can see it being something that is going to be required in the future.
Okay, thanks. And I do have one more question, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So once you've worked for signing services for a while, you can't work. So you can't work for title companies that you've worked through a signing service. You can't go back and market to them.
That is absolutely not true. And I'm glad that you are asking this because there are notaries on the call. So, you know, signing services, first of all, it depends on your state laws and if that signing service is located in that state. You know, if they're servicing a client that's in your state, it is frowned upon to stake business out as you become a signing agency. But I have notaries that service some of our clients right here in Arizona, and they are perfectly happy. That escrow officer doesn't want to work with a signing service. Some of their colleagues might, and some of them may want to work with just 1 or 2 notaries. So never get hung up on those agreements. They're set in place, but what you want to avoid is going in and giving a sales pitch. But if you develop a relationship with an escrow officer, go for it. It's free enterprise. And there are some contracts that say you can break that contract and give notice and not work with them for a certain period of time. So if you break your contract and or your independent agreement contract, but there are some states that don't honor those agreements. You know, you want to start with researching your state laws on, are they, you know, what is a non-compete? Is it valid in my state? All those things, and then build yourself up. And I always tell notaries, you know, sure, I say you need some experience. Signing services are the great way to get experience, but you do want to start walking in the door right away before you build up too many signing agencies. You know, some people just want to work with signing agencies, and that's okay. I have a lot of notaries that just want to work with signing services. They don't want to do the direct business, and that's okay. But if you want the bigger dollars, you're going to have to walk in the door, you know, if you're in an area that has title companies. So I would say try building up the title companies after you've trained and you're really confident. You know, the Notary Stars training should help you get with your confidence and start making relationships with local title companies so that you can get your piece of the pie. And there's no other way to say it is to get your piece of the pie.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next question up is from Terry Russell.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other day when I was on the call in regards to the Blue Notary, and you were saying that you would want someone to have some type of training, and you gave one was Notary Star. I went on there and I went to I'm on here now. I went to Notary Star Ron training. The
Mhm.
only thing I see is just videos. Is that what you mean?
Yes, we would like for you to have that training, so that,
And how would you know that I completed those tutorials?
so we can't tell if you've accessed every single one. We can only tell if you've accessed the module by your IP.
Let me
I
see.
always
If I
tell
go to the,
notaries, I always tell notaries that the proof is actually in the pudding. If you,
Okay.
start servicing orders for specifically my signing agency, and you said that you've done all of that training and you've had adequate time to take it, I will not work with you again if you are making big errors, especially on Ron, because it's a big deal.
because I'm on here right now and I see Ron training replays, and then I
Mhm.
see the boot camp, and then I see where it says watch the 2023 Ron replays here. Is that the modules you're talking about?
Correct.
Okay, alrighty. And then again, once I could have sworn that I was when I got through listening to you the other day about Blue Notary, I don't know why I thought I saw another email that says, hey guys, this is the it's 2 parts. And the second part, I could have sworn it was the other day. And every time I kept on trying to find the website, the email, I couldn't find it. So did I miss that second part?
That's a really great question. So there was really 2 parts to that session, and we posted it in the chat. I'm going to post it again. That session was really 2 parts. We talked about maximizing your listing, and then the second part was the business at Unlimited Ink for Blue Notary.
Okay, so I did miss it then.
No, you can watch it again. I just posted it in the chat for you, so you can watch
Okay,
it. You
perfect.
can
Okay.
fast
And
forward
then
to where you need to go and rewind. So it's
okay.
the
And
whole
then
2
so
hours
all
is there for you.
Okay. And all I need to do is reach out to you once I've completed my tutorials for Blue Notary and Notary Star, so I can possibly start getting some Ron signings, correct?
That is correct. And those
Okay.
who adequately, based on that YouTube video, those who have adequately marked themselves as Blue Notary should be seeing those orders starting to come out today. They've already been coming out, but those on that specific platform should start seeing them from Unlimited Ink coming out.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Mr. Rod, you are up next.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Just a couple quick ones regarding the comments on the blog posts. Is there anything we need to do to make those links happen, or it just automatically happen by us logging in and it just happens automatically, or what do we have to do to make sure those backlinks are established?
Great question. You want to make sure your profile is filled out, and that every opportunity that we give you to put in your signing agent profile from signingagent.com, your website, all of those are listed in your profile. And just remember, with your website, you always want to use https://www.your whatever that might be after that, because it shows SSL security on there. So when your website is secure, it's more accurately, more likely to get picked up. So as long as your profile is filled out properly, it's going to be giving a link out to anything that you've linked in your profile. And we have a lot of places for Instagram, Facebook, all those sites that you might be trying to get business from. If they're linked in your profile, you're getting a good backlink to those resources.
Okay, great. Second question, I'd like to participate in another onboarding session with Travis, but where's the schedule for that? How do I find out when that is?
Great. So if you're looking to onboard with Unlimited Ink Notary, you just go to our website, unlimitedinknotary.com, click on vendors, and then there's a link right up at the top that says, that we have an onboarding, and it'll tell you what day he's doing it next.
Okay, great.
For everybody is usually around the 8th of the month.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question we have coming up is from Retta.
I'm sorry. Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay. I have a question. So if I'm in an attorney state, and would you suggest marketing just to the attorneys, like for closings, or would you also suggest marketing to the signing services as well? I mean, it's kind of tricky, I guess, when you have an attorney state that is required for closings. I don't know.
What state are you in, if you don't mind sharing that with us?
Yes, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, so absolutely, I would definitely market to attorneys who are doing closings. One way that you can market to them is to let them know, like, if your clients aren't able to come into your office, I am able to facilitate that closing for you, travel to them and bring those documents back to you. Make sure you lean into your training and explain to them, what you've done to prepare to be able to do that, that you're also willing to come in and maybe train with them to oversee anything that they or train with them to make sure that you're representing them the way that you would want to be represented. You got to be on signing orders, snap docs, all those things. Those orders won't come out to you unless you are a notary. There's a button that says notary or attorney in those states. You can do closings so a lot of people own a second home outside of North Carolina. You can do closings for people if the property is not located in an attorney-only closing state. So for instance, if I owned a second home in Arizona, or if I owned a second home in Florida, you can do closings for those because those are not attorney-only closing states. It goes by the property, where the property is actually physically located, not where the signing is taking place. So you can do closings for people in an attorney-only closing state if the property in the transaction is located outside of your state and not in another attorney-only closing state. So for instance, if it's a Georgia property, it usually has to be done. Lots of signing services also, like from Georgia. I get properties from Georgia a lot in Arizona, and what you do is you phone in with the attorney on the line. They're just present. Now that's different in every state on how they do it, so you need to do some research on that, but absolutely let signing services know and put your name in every hat. They're only going to contact you if you're able to actually do that transaction.
Okay. All right. And then I did have one other question about a notary stamp. So in North Carolina, you don't have to have your commission expiration date on the stamp necessarily, but I guess I'm just a little confused. So if I use I have two, of course, I have a backup and then the regular one, but one of them doesn't have where you put your expiration date. But so would that be a valid stamp if it doesn't have a place for the expiration date on it?
Beth?
I am looking right now for North Carolina. If they require, hang on here 2 seconds. North.
While you're looking for that, Ms. Beth, I do want to tell you from the signing agency perspective, a lot of documents have my commission expires written under your notary information. And maybe one of the reasons that they have that is because maybe they're accounting for the states that don't have it written in the stamp. But we teach at Notary Stars that it's incomplete if you don't fill that out, even if it appears in your stamp. If you have one of those smaller stamps from the NNA, if that's your backup stamp that you're talking about, I highly recommend never using that for title and escrow, because it usually can't be read by the county recorders and it will get rejected. I learned that the hard way. I bought one, used it, thought it was the cutest little thing on the planet, and then threw it in the trash because, after destroying it, because it was absolutely useless. On a general notary document, maybe that works, but usually banks and title and escrow want to see that big notary stamp. So I would say that the bigger one's always going to be the one you want to use. Beth, are you almost ready with your?
Yeah, it says it may appear in the notary stamp or seal or elsewhere in the certificate. So it does not have to be in your seal, but if it is not in your seal, you must print it on the certificate. So bottom line is they require that information to be present, either in your seal or in your certificate.
Okay, perfect. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Guys, I'm just loving all these questions today. This is probably the best general mentorship that we've had so far with all these questions that you guys have brought, plus the ones that were written in. Beth, you are up next. Beth McGee.
Thank you. And thank you for the seminar on Saturday. It was a late night here on the East Coast, but my head was spinning by the time I was done, and my website is pretty much ready to go up. So I'm really excited about it. I have two questions. First is, can you discuss Fidelity Approval a bit, or what you know of it it's really confusing to me. I was approved by BankServe last week, and then I see some, and so I think that I meet some of that criteria just based on what I've read about it, even on Notary Stars about BankServe and Fidelity Approval. But also other signing companies, signing services will have a spot in the profile where you can check off if you're Fidelity approved. And if Fidelity is now having individual signing services do that approval, what am I putting there for one that I haven't actually done that for?
So
And then the second question I have is just if you could explain papering out. That's all.
okay,
Thank
I want you to repeat papering out in a minute because I have no idea what that is, and I'll have to do some research. But I just posted directly a chat to you and to everyone an article that I wrote a while ago. It's actually one of our most widely read articles about Fidelity Approval. And I really hope anybody that's interested in Fidelity Approval will read this article because I really know what I'm talking about here. Okay, when you're approved with BankServe, you are not directly Fidelity approved. When you are approved with Coast to Coast, you are not approved for BankServe or directly with Fidelity. When you get approved with a signing agency, you are grandfathered into their approval for Fidelity Approval. Okay, so you have to get approved with that signing agency or what have you, and then you can do Fidelity files that come through them and only them. That is the first stance. So everyone that you work with, you have to go through a Fidelity approval. So if you're BankServe approved, you can't tick that box that says Fidelity approved in signing order. Okay, and signing order actually goes through and gets the list from Fidelity and uploads all of that stuff. Now, I am directly Fidelity approved, so I can tick that box. And every year I work with the corporate office of Fidelity. They send me out a little packet, make me read all their stuff, sign all their things. Unless you're doing that with a direct, and they usually have a regional manager that handles all the notaries within a certain amount of radius. Arizona might even just be one person for all of Arizona. That's directly Fidelity approved. If you're directly Fidelity approved, then you can really work with anybody if they have a Fidelity file. And you know, you can let the signing services know that you're also Fidelity approved. To go back to a question we had earlier, once you're directly Fidelity approved, you really don't want to capture business from signing services because now the Fidelity offices near you, if they're servicing them, there's a conflict of interest there. So you would want to approach those offices on your own. And a lot of Fidelity officers, they're very high end, only want to work with notaries direct. Okay, they only use signing services for outside their area. Okay, does that answer your question? Perfect.
I can answer the papering out.
Absolutely. Okay, please, because I have no idea what we're talking about on that.
So the term papering out just refers to an electronic notarization that's turned into paper for recording purposes. So there are some RON notarizations, signed, notarized, that can't be recorded electronically. So they have to paper them out and then record them traditionally. That's all it means.
Perfect. Thank you, Miss Beth. You saved me on that one. I had no idea. I've never heard of it.
That's why we're a team.
Next question is up from Nancy Call.
Hi, and I want to thank you for Saturday's class too. That was awesome. I actually called my marketing guy today about my website and he's like, well, I don't know. And yeah, it was a hot mess. Oh yeah, they love stuff like that. So I have a couple of questions. So you write these wonderful blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay that we share them on our stuff? You know, like our Facebook or any of that? Do we have your permission? Is that not something we do? Do we just read them on your site?
No, you are more than welcome to share the articles. One thing that I will tell you is I would not like for you to share them in any other training courses unless it's warranted or merited or approved. Just because.
You mean I'm allowed to take training courses outside of you?
Absolutely. I want you to take them all.
I was kidding.
I want you to take them all, but you know, let's just say this like it is. I wouldn't want you to take one of our articles and drop it into something that Bill Soroka's doing unless it was merited or invited.
Oh, absolutely not.
You know, LSS or anything like that. Like I don't want people shoving around the articles, but if you're sharing it on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I just read this really great article, I hope other notaries will read this. If you share it on your personal Facebook, if you have a group that's local and they approve you to do it, absolutely. Feel free to share it with other notaries. We really put a lot of care and concern into what we write. And the more reach that it gets, the more people we can help.
Perfect, because just ideas go through my head. Now, I've never done the onboarding. What is that?
So when you're working with Unlimited Ink Notary, we actually have a live onboarding process at that company where notaries can get to know the other owner of the company. Most of them get to know me from working here, but Travis, the other owner of Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars, he mostly focuses on managing Unlimited Ink and building the notary list and how those things go. I do work a lot at Unlimited Ink as well, but Travis, it's a great way to meet Travis and to get to know the team and what we're expecting so that you start off on the right foot working with our signing agency.
Okay, so I haven't done that, so I probably should. And then I've applied for the Fidelity, have never heard, what other approvals do you suggest we got? Everything that you've suggested so far, I've already done, so I'm just curious as what else you think.
That's a really tough question. I mean, that would be a,
Personal,
no, not a
Bas-
personal,
I meant person
There's-
by person.
there's so many things to do in the notary world. If I could dump it all out at once, but I think we've created like a great journey at Notary Stars of things. And we always let you know if something new comes up, but I wouldn't be able to sit here and just like rattle off, like here's everything you need to do and find, I wish I was able to do that, but I wouldn't.
Give us a list. These 3 need to be done, like your modules.
Yeah, we have all the signing services that you should get signed up with. We have all the articles. Anything we think you should know is uploaded from our brains to, in a logical order on Notary Stars. But being able to sit here and just rattle it off like one after the other, and different notaries are in different parts of their journey, that would be a really tough thing to do.
That makes sense. No, I appreciate all of your time, and I've learned so much from you, Beth. I want to thank you too. I did one of those co-op states yesterday, and without you, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Good deal. Glad we could resonate with you for sure.
Thank you, Miss Nancy. And before we start recycling questions and recycling people that have already asked questions, I think we should probably take just a question from the ones that were written in, so we don't miss getting those because those people took the time to write in. We had a question come in from Amber Nicole Hess, and it says, I need to know how to best market in California for general notary work on a slim picking budget. This is actually a really great question. First of all, we have a lot of free things that you can do if you've not done Google My Business or Yelp. Those are actually posted on our YouTube channel down under the marketing section. There's 2 free marketing videos to help get you started with Google My Business and Yelp, which have a lot of SEO power. You're going to get found. Any free listing sites that you can get signed up with, of course, creating a website and properly doing it so that you're getting out there and getting found. If you need help with that, I mean, I have to say, my marketing course is not that expensive, and it gives you everything that you'll ever need to kind of set up your website and get found. But online is going to be your cheapest way to kind of market yourself. And then, of course, you're going to need business cards. We've got videos on how to leave business cards, where to leave business cards. That's going to be your cheapest way to kind of get started, is your online marketing. And then that's just for general notary work. But if you're also doing loan signing agent work, you've got to put your name in every hat. And I can't believe, and I'm going to share the screen for this, moving away from that question, but just as a reminder to everyone, we have 2 hiring lists on Notary Stars. We have the one that is for everyone, which is the starter companies nationwide. And I would go through and make sure all of these, your names are in. These are nationwide companies that hire notaries. And then we have our expanded reach for our members at Notary Star level and higher. We have a little reminder here for you to, for reviews, like how to post them professionally. And then we have pretty much every signing service in the country listed under this umbrella here, so that you can get in here. And I need to actually log in, but you'll need to log in as a member And there's reviews on those signing services. You can actually review them yourselves. You can post a review, help other notaries, let them know don't work there if you had a bad experience with them. But definitely for our members, you want to go to that expanded list because there's like 300, 400 signing services listed in there in alphabetical order where you can go and make sure your name is in the hat. And to close that question, I know I'm long-winded, but I like giving as much information as possible. Like I have my name in every hat in every signing service in the country, and if I find out a new one, I find a way to sign up for it. There are companies that call me once every 2 years, but it's just at the right time that their order happens to fall into my calendar. There are some that call me every day. There are some that call me, once a month. I don't care how many times they call me as long as they call me. You got your name in 400 hats, and let's just say that only half of those call you for a month. Well, there's 200 signings right there. They may not be the signings you wanted, but you ain't driving Lyft that day, so I'm just saying that, that's it. Let's start alternating these between questions on the screen and what we did. Next question we're coming to is Terry Russell again.
Yes, real quick. So I heard the gentleman and someone else saying about being onboarded for your unlimited ink notary, I think it's called, correct?
Yep.
And I remembered that name and I went and did a search and it looks like I did get a couple of signings.
Mhm.
So does that mean I need to do anything to get more or just I'm good?
So I want to make this very clear to everybody, but Unlimited Ink Notary is a separate company from Notary Stars. I own both companies. Doing the Notary Stars training definitely helps you get signings from Unlimited Ink Notary, but if you've got 10 blacklists against you, you still ain't getting hired at Unlimited Ink Notary. I'll still train you how to do signings, but yes, our training, but it does not guarantee that you're going to get business from Unlimited Ink Notary. We do put you on the list, so if you're starting to see them or if you've had signings, we do work with notaries in areas if they haven't had training, but if we see 2 Notary to Pro graduates that have also taken Notary Stars and LSS and Bill Soroka's on their profile and you've only done 1, we're going to try to get them. The more training
Gotcha.
on the profile, the better. We are just one avenue to get there. And what I love about our training is I am not sure it's self-serving in a way, because I know when I hire a Notary Star, the training that they have is, a really great training. But I don't want people to think that you come to Notary Stars to get more work. That's not how it works. I offer training to train you to work with no matter who you're working with, what is the best policies and procedures so that you can shine when you're working with them. I wish that Unlimited Ink Notary, even though we do about 3,000 transactions a month, had enough business to put a roof over every single one of your heads. Boy, I would be so happy, probably have a heart attack from working that hard. But I want to train you not to just work with Unlimited Ink Notary, but to shine with no matter who you're working with.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I actually really appreciate that question, because sometimes I think it needs to be reminded, to make sure people know that, this is not some kind of multi-level marketing scheme or anything like that. I want people to know that I do Notary Stars. This is what started as a passion project and turned into a very viable, I think, a great solution for a lot of notaries, or at least I hope so. And if you don't think so, I'm sorry, but we tried really hard. We have another question coming up from somebody that's labeled Zoom user. I'm going to send to ask to unmute. We don't know your name, so if you could tell us when you're asking your question there, and I would call you by name, but if your name is Zoom user and you see unmute requested by host, please go ahead and unmute and ask your question. Okay, we're going once. They may not even know I'm talking to them because they might not have put their name in there. So we will lower the hand there and we'll move on to the next question. Miss Eva Marie Hale, you are up next.
Hello, everyone. Ronnie, what do you think about virtual assistants?
I absolutely love virtual assistants. I think it's a real wonderful way for you to grow your business and not have to be able to pay an employee. Let's say that you, you still pay them, but not pay as much. And you got to make sure you say this right, because that would be really wrong if you didn't pay them. But I think virtual assistants are wonderful. We can also assist you, if you're truly interested in getting a virtual assistant. We currently start our virtual assistants here at $3.33 an hour, which is a very fair rate for where they're located. Depending on what you're, looking to accomplish, you can get, up to $8 an hour for virtual assistants. Now, this is for overseas workers. This is not going to be people who are, they can answer the phone and do things for you, but, the higher level you go, the more you're going to pay. Virtual assistants in the United States, forgive me guys, but for the price that you'll pay for overseas, you can train that entity or that person to really understand what you're doing and what they need to do. You're going to pay a much higher rate for an onshore virtual worker, and some of you might be virtual workers, and you get paid more if you're doing like really specialty work like notary work and having to understand what we do and answer questions for the general public about notary. You're going to have to answer those questions for them. So depending on where you are in your notary business, if you are at that 6-figure level, which, some notaries are, that might be a viable solution to save and keep at the 6-figure level while bringing in someone to help you with scheduling.
Do you all have a list of virtual assistants or companies that you recommend?
No, but Unlimited Inc. is always constantly expanding and hiring for various projects, especially in the background for marketing on Notary Stars and those types of things. So when we have interviews, we may have people that we didn't hire that we could refer you over to, and you would be responsible for, we would give you their information. You'd be responsible for reaching out to them, explaining the project, letting them know how many hours you have, what you're looking for, and going forth, just like a hiring business. We would just give you the referral.
Okay. Could I email you and you forward me the information?
Yes, you can email me. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next, go
We
ahead.
probably need to get some of these jot form questions in and answered, because it really would not be a good idea to let them sink into next week.
Absolutely. So anybody that's got their hand up now, we will get to your questions today as well. But I think we have 2 more on that jot form, Miss Beth, if I'm not mistaken.
Now there's 4.
Well, 3, because I already answered one of them and one of them's blank.
Okay, so Nancy Fauchet's question on Instagram and real estate. You didn't answer that one?
You want to read it to me because I don't see it on there.
Well, no, I was just asking if you thought this one was something that we weren't doing. The other night in marketing class, you talked about changing how we come up on Instagram to real estate. Could you please walk us through how to do that?
Sure. So I did talk about in the seminar, one of the things that I already answered Nancy, so I didn't add it in there. As a lot of you may be putting in your profile on Instagram that you're a notary. And if you're a loan signing agent, I think it's much better for you to list yourself as real estate, and then make your bio or your name. For instance, our name is Notary Stars, 5-star notary signing agent training. In order to do this, you just need to go to your profile on Instagram. And when you go on your profile, you're going to click on edit profile. And from there, it's going to say category. And then you're going to list yourself in real estate. So if you're really focusing on loan signings, I really believe that you should move yourself to the real estate category so that you're found in that market, because I don't think notary is really encompassed into real estate. We have to kind of insert our foot in that door. So again, that process is you go to your profile, you click on edit profile, and from there you choose the category real estate. Okay, you can also do the same thing on TikTok or any other social media platforms that you're on. You'll need to navigate those. I know TikTok was pretty easy to change. I didn't really care about Twitter because it's not my platform. And who knows if it's even called Twitter anymore. But that was it. Let's zoom through these other questions, and then I'm going to get to you, Miss Leah, on the screen there. I want to make sure we get your question because you've been patient there.
Here's one from Jason, and this one you may have already answered as a live question just a little bit earlier, but Jason says, how will you know that we finished our training required to win more credibility and orders from Unlimited Inc., modules 1 through 6, and all other content if we're just playing back content on YouTube?
So the way that it works is when you access those videos through Notary Stars, we can see your IP address for those modules. When you sign up for Notary Stars, immediately we put a note into our personal backend on signing order, and we say, this person started on this date. You are given 30 to 45 days to kind of get through the modules. We look at your profile. If you've not accessed any modules, we move out that date and you will get less and less orders. If you've actually accessed the modules, we can't tell if you actually watched the video or absorbed the information. But again, the proof is in the pudding. Some of the smarter notaries I've seen have actually sent an email and said, hey, Ronnie, I'm not ready. I need to go through the training again. You want to be ready, because once you do the live onboarding at Unlimited Inc., even if you're a Notary Star, and there are Notary Stars on this call that will tell you, I will pull you aside and give you a second chance. But if you're really messing up my baby, Unlimited Inc., which is where my paycheck comes from, I will not use you. And I will make sure not to promote you out either to any of our signing agencies that pull from our list. For our list that we send out to other signing agencies, we let them know that, we are now using you, and they can upload you to their profiles if they want to. Sometimes that process can be a week after getting the list. Sometimes it could be passed up for 3 months until they need to beef up an area or what have you. So we don't know if this is why I don't believe in tests. It's why we don't have a certification at Notary Stars. I expect notaries to continuously be learning, eventually, out working, have a resource library to come back to. Getting a certificate does not mean that you are a notary. We learned that from taking the NNA certificate. There's a lot of training courses that are boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, in 10 hours, and you have a certificate, and then you're still coming to Notary Stars for 150 hours more. But I always say the proof is in the pudding when you are out in the field. You show that you know it, you start. And Unlimited Inc. is really good about not assigning you we call them turn and burns right at the beginning. If you're brand new, we're looking at that date when you started and you should be ready. We don't just assign you the turn and burn, like, can you sign and drive this to title and drop it without scanning or going through quality control? We give those to the notaries that have been doing it a long time, also took the training, really know what they're doing, proved themselves on the late night orders, so we can have time to look at it before you drive it to title. We give the newer notaries, not the crap files, I mean, they're all timing, but we're not going to give you like sign at 8 o'clock, fund at 9 o'clock. That's just not going to happen on your first day. But as you build up that time of doing, orders that might be signing 2, 3, 4, and then funding the next day, or so we have time for you to correct anything, then you'll get those turn and burns and can fill up your calendars with those as well. And we all know there's a lot of turn and burns out there.
So here's a really short one that just came in about 9 minutes ago, Ronnie. This one's from Amy Armio, and it's kind of along those same lines. We're talking about training and certificates and things, so I thought I'd throw it in here really quickly. It says, how long does it realistically take to complete training for Ron on Notary Stars before we can mark ourselves as available for Ron?
Well, there's about 50 videos of an hour long. So that's about 50 hours of Ron training. Some of that is marketing training, so you don't really need the marketing training part to go over. But the initial setup, you're looking at like 10, 12, 15, 20 hours of additional training.
Be a notary before you do that, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure you really know your notary loan signing training before you get involved in Ron. And then the Ron training is probably an additional time. You need to know your platform. I can't tell you anybody how long it's going to take them to go through those hours, because I'm not going to tell you. I know you guys look up to me, but if you send me a book to read, I have to read it 2 to 3 times. Not one time. I'll read it the first time and be like, oh, great. I don't remember half of it. Like I'm just, it's been that way my entire life. I took a slow route to get through. It took me until I was 32 to get my college degree. And I love that you guys look up to me and think I'm some kind of brilliant guy. I hear it all the time and I'm like, no, I'm just like everyone else. So how long it takes you to get through the information is up to you. And when you are confident and ready is when you need to take that step. You guys, and I'm glad that this came up because I want you guys to know that confidence is a thing. You know, you have to find that confidence within yourself. And if you're not confident, go back to the training material again. There's no shame in that. Go through it as many times as you need to know until you're confident. That's why I don't charge $1,000 up front for Notary Stars. It might take you 6 months to a year to watch videos over and over again to get to where you need to be your greatness. The confidence comes from being okay with watching it again. It does not make you dumb. I am really smart, but I got there by sometimes repeating things over and over again. And that's what our job is really, is a lot of repetition. So don't feel that you're in a race with anyone or with yourself. You want to be ready, because being ready is the key to success in this industry, truly.
One more question before we go back to the raised hands. I've got to get this in. We got 5 minutes till termination time, I guess. Anissa would not forgive me if I didn't get this one in. Anissa wrote in, she's an Arizona notary. She wrote in on Jot forms. She wanted to know, are Arizona notaries allowed to accept EID to verify or identify our clients? So there's a short answer here and a longer answer. So the short answer is no. Arizona can't use them. The long answer is, if you don't know what an EID is, it's a digitized form of identification. And that doesn't mean just a photograph of your driver's license or state ID card on your phone. That's actually through a verified provider for electronic or digitized identification. And it's all tied in with your state's MVDs. It's where they're actually verifying that the information you are displaying on a mobile ID actually checks and verifies with the MVD in your state. So let me tell you this right now, guys. Arizona says no, but there's really only 3 states that have employed mobile IDs or digitized IDs that allow notaries to use them. And that's Colorado, Louisiana, and Missouri. But I'm also gonna throw it in there that California and Ohio both do not utilize mobile IDs or digital IDs. But if you are a notary in those states and you're presented a digital ID from another state that says it's a verified and proper ID to use, then you can take it. So in other words, California can't use digital IDs to verify their signers, but if they have a Colorado resident who has a digital ID in their state that they're notarizing, Colorado says it is a verified form of ID. It's deemed acceptable. So California notary and Ohio notary can both take those, even though it's not something they can use in their state. So interesting little process. And we're going to start seeing a lot more of that because Apple Wallet, Google Wallet, they're all making these partnerships with MVDs across the US. So Maryland, I think, is the first state to have both Apple Wallet and Google Wallet have digital IDs for the state of Maryland. So it's coming, guys. The only way to know for sure if your state actually allows you to use a digital ID to verify the identity of your signer is to give them a call. But I will say that your state statutes probably read physical ID card. and not digital. So those laws have to be changed before something really starts to move on that. That's all I got.
Thank you, Miss Beth. Leah, I'm gonna get to you next. I'm gonna make this really quick. And then I just want to say it's important for all of you to check your state laws. We do this as a nationwide. We really try to look before we speak. But it is important for all of you to know your state laws. One thing that I said during the Ron session was that we can now notarize for pretty much anywhere in the world. However, if you're a North Carolina notary, you can only notarize online for someone located within your state. So we can't be responsible. You also have to know your notary law more than any trainer that you're turning to. We teach a lot of loan signings. We teach a lot about Ron, but you do have to know your state laws. Two quick things. I'm going to Leah. I promise. I'm just get these out really quick. Susan was signed. Susan said, "What's the best way to get some Ron experience?" First of all, train with your platform. Do some in-person do some phone notarizations with a friend or family member. Offer those services to someone for free. Maybe, put up a little thing and say, if you are looking for a Ron transaction, if you need to get a document notarized, I can do it online for you on Saturdays, and just do 4 hours every Saturday morning where you could do a Ron transaction, get that experience. I would schedule them no more than an hour apart while you're learning to do it. That's a great way to get Ron experience. Someone posted in the chat that they can't get the links to the replays. All you have to do is go to the 3 dots at the bottom of the chat, click on more, and click save chat. You can take that chat with you before we wrap up. And I don't know who wrote this into me because I copied it and got the question from Amy Sites, but I'll reply to them by email if they're not here. So the question was, in Florida for Ron, it is $25 for Ron. However, the state does not address how much each additional stamp. My platform charges $8 each additional. However, a hybrid member can charge, as a hybrid member, I can charge $10 up to $25 for each additional Ron. Even the NNA could not answer this question. If I'm bringing my own business, can I charge $25 per stamp? Amy Sites from Cyberize It was the one who answered this question. She is here today as well. Miss Beth, if you want to make her a co-host in case, I know she runs another session helping notaries as well. So I was sending co-host to her if she wants to chime in on this, but her answer was, you can invoice $25 per notarial act. So if 5 people are all named in the same session on one notary certificate and has all 5 names, that is 5 times 25 for a possible fee to the client of $125. Now, one thing that Amy said was, would you really want to charge $125 just because you can? Or would you want to charge less and get repeat business and people referring you out? There is going to come a point where you can, yes, charge for 5 documents and each notary stamp $25. However, you might be scaring off business and nobody wanting to come back to you when they research it and find out that other people are doing it cheaper. So competitive pricing, that may be why a lot of the platforms start you out at $10 or $25 per stamp and then lower the price, because maybe they've already done that market research for you. Okay, so that was Amy's response to that. And we really appreciate being able to call on Amy from Cyberize It, who, if you guys haven't checked out Cyberize It, please do. It's a wonderful Ron platform for you guys. And she's a plethora of knowledge for Ron notaries. Now, Miss Leah, I am so sorry for keeping you home. You are going to be one of our last questions today.
Okay, thank you. My question is, I do a lot of digital marketing and I'm new to the whole notary thing. And I wanted to know, do you think that I need a separate website for notary, or I can just, keep on doing what I'm doing and just list that I also offer notary services? I'm also looking into doing the Ron in the future. So do you think it's smart to separate them?
I do, absolutely. I preach this a lot, and anytime somebody asks me, for notary, you definitely need your own website. It is a separate business. People aren't looking, when they go and they look for a notary, they're looking for specifically that. You need to have it SEO'd for your notary business. And if you had a different business like Lisa Duffy for LiveScan, she and I have talked about this. She focuses on different businesses, and I would have, I would separate out Notary and also put live scan on there. But if I was focusing on a live scan business, I would have a separate website for that. There's only so much you can do with a website before the internet doesn't really understand what you're doing anymore. And if you're doing digital marketing and you're adding notary services into it online, sure, you can put those services on there, but you're not going to be bringing the right kind of traffic to your website. Especially if your website's built properly. Google's going to get really confused on what kind of person needs to be delivered to that site, and they're going to downgrade your website in the rankings. So in order for a website to be effective, you need one that's truly all about your notary work. You're on mute there. You got to unmute again.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Because what I was thinking was just continue with my website and then just having like a link and then like a separate page with all the, all the information and things like that. But it makes sense to just completely separate it. It's just, I feel like it's going to be running two different, it's going to be a lot.
Believe me, I wish this
But
were
I
the
can do
case
it.
because I have 5 websites that I maintain myself just for our companies.
Yeah.
So believe me, I
it's a
wish
lot.
it was just as simple as adding another page, but it's not.
Gotcha. Okay, I bought the name just in case, but good to know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And that was a really great question because I know a lot of notaries try to put things all on one website, and I'm a big fan of separating those out so you truly get found.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zoom user is ready for you, Ronnie, if we can squeeze those in before we say goodnight.
Okay, and yes, we can. We will not leave anyone behind. So there you go. Can you tell us your name because you didn't rename yourself in there?
Oh, sorry, Michelle from New Jersey.
All right, Michelle, what can we help you with today?
I'm excited, but I'll calm down. Question. Once, if you were a Notary Star member and no longer are, do you still have access to your videos that you had, or just the YouTube ones?
Really great question. So as a Notary Star member, you always have access to our library of training and any resources that we have. If you have downgraded, those do lock again, and that takes effect, at any time that you downgrade. So your Notary Star status is valid for, up to a year after if you get to that Notary Star status. We do go through and remove, from list and make sure that we're not promoting people that are not continuing their education. So yes, you have access to all the free videos on YouTube, but you don't have access to any of the training that we have on there.
Okay, fair enough. Now for the run, since you're doing everything online, how do you maintain the journal? Do you have to have an electronic journal, or do you just, when they upload, I don't know, I'm assuming, when they upload the information, you just write it in your journal and then write remote online transaction?
That's going to vary by state. So you need to check your state statutes. Now, every platform that I've worked with or so far provides you an online electronic journal. However, for instance, in Arizona, I'm required to also keep those transactions in my journal or in a separate journal outside of the electronic journal. Okay, so or at least that's my process. So you need to check your state laws to find out what your state requires you to do, and it's going to vary state to state. So it's only good to check with your Secretary of State on is the electronic journal sufficient? If I were everyone, and I always go from the path of least resistance, I would maintain a physical journal as well of those transactions, even if it's a separate remote online transaction where you print out the information and you put it in the journal. I made my own little book with a binder, and I just print out my transactions after and put them in one after the other. So that to me is due diligence. I don't ever want to get sued or have something come back, and I want to be able to access those records. And let's face it, guys, you guys know websites go down and get hacked all the time. So why not create that additional step? When you're done, hit print on your electronic journal and just file it right into your physical journal.
Okay, I'll do that, because I did check my state website for that and for biometrics, and it didn't give me anything in New Jersey. It just said that you have to keep the records for the video for 10 years. But and it doesn't say anything about the biometrics, the face recognition thing. I think that's what biometric is. it doesn't give me anything on that. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do biometrics form of identification, you know, in New Jersey.
Yep. So
I'm a bit curious on that.
one great resource that you guys can use for biometrics is actually Amy's site on Cyberize It. She keeps that site updated if you can do biometrics or not. So please check out Cyberize It. That I'll post that link in the chat today. She's a great resource for finding out if you can do biometrics or not, because she's, of course, has a big stake in it because she wants her platform available to all notaries in every state that can be available for. So she's a great resource because she's working ahead of that to find out those answers for all those notaries.
All right, thank you. One more question and I promise I'm grateful and I will let you go.
No problem.
My other question is, I checked the state website and didn't find anything. Can I do multiple platforms, run platforms, or only one at a time? Excuse me.
That is also going, you know, if you can't get the answer from researching the website, you can always write into your Secretary of State, or you can give them a call.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, if you write into them or give them a call. I know in Arizona we can add as many as we want to, and in Nevada you have to pay to add each one. Each state is going to be very, very different, and I don't know the law in New Jersey.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right, everybody. The time
how do I unmute? How do I mute back?
We got you. All right, everybody. The time has come. I'm so proud. This is, first of all, this has been the most questions we have ever had from you guys. I am so thankful. I am so stoked. But I feel like you guys came this week and brought it. And it gave us a full hour just over of wonderful questions. But the time has come to now say goodnight. It's a lot of cameras are on. I'm so proud of that as well. You guys can see my face is even lit up even more because there's so much more light. I feel like I didn't even need the Zoom light over here. Guys, if you are not stuffing your face, if you are not running around naked, even if you got your children with you right now, if they ain't naked, turn on those cameras and let's do our signature wave. Wave to any of the notaries that couldn't be here with us tonight. Wave to yourself if you come back to watch the replay. Wave to those future notaries. And guys, Miss Beth, tell them how we really say it here at Notary Stars.
Well, my sincerest thanks to all 118 participants today for spending time with us. And just remember, we are not all in the same storm. We're all in the same storm, but not all in the same boat. Okay, Ronnie's got a yacht, I've got a canoe. You guys may be dog paddling, but just remember to be kind, reach back, help that notary struggling next to you or behind you, and show them the way. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.